Hey e-commerce beginners, Alex Conley here coming to you guys today with another video. Today I want to talk about why you don't want to take returns as a personal insult. So when I started out selling, I occasionally got returns and I had this, for some reason I had this defiant type attitude like what's wrong with my products and how could I mess up and this and that, and that was the wrong attitude to have. People had trusted me with their money, and for some reason they were dissatisfied, and for some reason, probably a lack of maturity, I didn't respond as well as I should have at that time. Now that I've had plenty of returns over the course of the last 7 years, not an extreme rate, but I've dealt with returns like any other long-term seller. I've learned to not take returns personally, right? So what I mean by that is that people return things for a variety of reasons, and sometimes the reasons are illogical, sometimes the people are dishonest, but one way or another, all retail businesses, I mean every single retail business has returns. Regardless of how well they do, even places like Walmart and Amazon have returns. Now, when you notice how they process returns, particularly retail outlets, physical retail outlets like Walmart, the return people don't argue with the customer. They don't try to fight with the customer. Now, if there's some kind of fraud going on, they will raise an issue. Like, say, if somebody were trying to return stolen merchandise, that's absolutely against the law, and the employees have every right to raise an issue with that. But in the case of legitimate returns, items that a customer has purchased from you and they're not satisfied for whatever reason, they want to return it, don't take it personal. Understand it's a part of doing business. It's a part of any retail operation. If you're going to go forward in e-commerce, you've got to plan for a certain amount of items to be returned. I want to say a normal return rate is something like 2 or 3%. Correct me if you feel otherwise, if you think otherwise, if you can prove otherwise. I definitely don't want to give people the wrong impression when it comes to return rate. So calculate this into the prices you charge, calculate this into your expected profits, and understand that it will happen. And we want to be as accepting and kind as possible. Some people disagree. Some people say you should argue over returns and you should try to fight to keep your money. I anticipate it as part of doing business, and I don't want to stress over it. I don't want to lose any sleep over it. I want to put the vast majority of my efforts into selling and fulfilling more orders, right? So if I'm making quite a bit of money and I get occasional returns, why would I want to distract myself from continuing to grow my business with fighting returns? Now, if there's a legitimate reason people keep returning, I need to go into my business and address that issue. If products aren't matching up to what the buyer gets and in the what the buyer sees in the listing and what the buyer receives, then that's on me as a seller, and I've got to do what I can to correct that. If the buyer no longer needs the item, well, that's okay. You know what? As long as they return it in proper condition, I could probably sell the item to somebody else. Now, if they return it damaged, that's when you need to raise an issue with your e-commerce platform. You need to let your e-commerce platform know, hey, this buyer did not return the item to me in the proper condition. They said they did a return, but they misused it somehow, and now I can't resell the item. Now the value of the item is lower than what it would have been if it were new or in better condition. And this is a time when you do need to raise an issue, right? I sold a nice jacket to someone on eBay, and I get a return a couple weeks later, and the jacket was new, no flaws, beautiful jacket. To be specific, it was a North Face jacket. And when I get the item back and I open up the package, I immediately get hit with the strong odor of perfume. And so I contact eBay and I let them know, hey, I did this sale with this buyer. I shipped it on time. I shipped it in great condition. There was no odor, as it was a women's jacket, so it wasn't my style. I didn't wear the jacket, so hey, there's an issue here. I can't turn around and sell this jacket with a strong odor to another person with them thinking, oh, it's a new jacket, it's not going to smell bad. It's going to be in the condition that I expect. And so eBay did something that they do in the name of customer service. They refunded the buyer from their pocket and they let me keep the money from the sale. So keep in mind, if somebody does try to do some kind of return fraud or return dishonesty, have a process in place to deal with that. I'm all about taking legitimate returns, but as an e-commerce seller, I'm not providing rental services, right? I don't provide free rental services. I don't want people to purchase my products, use them, and then return them after they're done. To me, that's not good, and I don't want to encourage that type of behavior. So I just want to let you guys know, don't approach returns personally. Don't get upset with the buyer. Do what you need to do to close the return out. Move past it, move forward, focus on your sales, and keep on selling. You don't want to get a reputation with your e-commerce platform of trying to fight returns, because they can ban you for this, right? So eBay and Amazon have systems in place where if you don't respond to the buyer in a timely manner, you don't attempt to resolve the conflict, then you can get punished. And if you get enough of these, you will get banned from just about every e-commerce platform. So understand that you need something in place to either resolve the conflict, make the buyer happy, or do a refund of some kind. You'll want to, of course, get the product back in and check that it's in the right condition. But build out systems for this. And have a process in place to keep these sorts of issues from growing out of proportion and hurting your business, hurting your sales, hurting your wallet. I think that, the goal of mine should be to make money. Anyway, thank you for watching. Till next time.